Some things just don't make any sense, and you don't understand them. And then all of a sudden, in one crushing realization, you do. Like a sinking weight, you just feel it drop like a dumbwaiter right here. If there are any young children within earshot of the TV or the phone or whatever that you're watching, please lower it or turn it off because we are about to drop some serious spoilers here. But it's similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm probably good. It's similar to Santa Claus, right? In the moment that I realized that if somebody was going as fast as he would need to go, it was probably impossible and the reindeer would disintegrate. I was also told that at a particularly spicy bar mitzvah that I went to that definitely ruined it for a couple of the kids in the crowd, and that is one of the most hilarious childhood memories that I cherish very dearly up into this day, right? But that was, for me, a really, really lead weight dropping kind of moment. Then my mom looked me dead in the eyes and she told me that if I told my little brother that Santa Claus wasn't real, then whoever Santa Claus actually was in real life definitely wouldn't be showing up to give me any presents at all. So I kept my lily white mouth shut. And that is fortunately not something I have to do anymore because I have my own YouTube channel. So the crushing realization that I had is why Jordan Henderson left Saudi Arabia. Right? Because that man, because of tax exemption and all this sort of stuff, he had delayed his payment. He ended up taking no money in a huge brand hit, and he still decided to leave Saudi Arabia. Right? And that's because I've actually defended Saudi fans in certain aspects. This video just came across my feed. And this is Karim Benzema scoring his first goal since December 15th, 2023 in the Saudi League. But that's not really what we're paying attention to here. I mean, at this point, you're probably realizing we're not even looking at the actual action on the field. There's like a pretty hilarious mistake that leads you directly to this goal. I mean, that is just a giant whiff. But look, I am MLS or whatever, any other league that's struggling for legitimacy, right, or battling for legitimacy. I think MLS is a more legit league than the Saudi League. I just want to get that out. Like off over the top. I don't think that's particularly close. But even in the Premier League, somebody can make a mistake like that and they'd get made fun of for it. Point is, I hate judging leagues based off of one clip of giant ineptitude. But what I'm really distracted by, and what I feel like you can judge a league by, is there is absolutely nobody here. There are maybe as many stewards as there are people. I mean, probably because there is apparently a local stewards convention happening in this particular area. We've got a lot of high-vis vests going on. First of all, how come I didn't get an invite? I am a big donator to the Stewards Convention annually, and I feel a little insulted. I mean, I'm on their Christmas card list, and they will be hearing from me. I will be leaving a strong Yelp review. But there's nobody at this game. Right now, the reason I say I defended Saudi fans, right, I said that earlier, is because, the atmospheres at the World Cup matches were great. Qatar is small, and in Saudi Arabia is the giant neighbors. So what we had in 2018 was basically a Saudi home World Cup, and that is part of the reason they were able to pull off that miraculous win against Argentina, which is one of my best memories from that World Cup. That was a stunning upset. It was awesome. I was sitting on that couch right back there, jumping all over Kingdom Come with Macwell. Great YouTuber, if you don't know him. He joined us for a few of the World Cup watch-alongs. And I was taken aback by how packed that stadium was, how enthusiastic the fans were. And I was made a believer. Not entirely. Like, I'm not drinking all the Kool-Aid and, just soaking in all the propaganda like I'm some sort of a lightning rod for, like, far whatever. It's late. That didn't even go anywhere. Soaking in all the propaganda like a sponge, that's not what I'm doing. But, I mean, it was a legitimate fact, right? There's some great fans. And I'd seen one or two clips from Saudi matches that were absolutely bumper. But I'll tell you what, right? If we're doing a whole comparison thing between MLS and Saudi Arabia, you'll never find an MLS stadium that looks anywhere near like that, right? This is sad. Because you know who just scored that goal? Karim Benzema. Right? I mean, this is a guy that won the Ballon d'Or like 2 years ago, right? I mean, he is a tremendous player. Tremendous player. Little old, kind of a dick, tremendous player. And he is somebody that, if he had not decided he wanted to leave Real Madrid's wheeling out Joselu right now. And I love my boy Joselu. I think that's one of the best stories in world football that guy's made it to Real Madrid at 33 as the backup striker, right? But you're telling me Karim Benzema couldn't be doing that job ahead of Joselu, right? This guy deserves to be playing in front of packed stadiums. He's the type of player that stadiums pack to watch. He's the type of player that when the team gets off the bus, he's one of the guys that he's one of the autographs you're waiting for. And he's playing in this environment. That's sad to me. That's kind of an indictment of this whole situation. I realize if this was Cristiano Ronaldo, there'd probably be a lot more people there, right? Because that's just how it works. Cristiano Ronaldo's in another stratosphere. 1/10 of the world's population follows the man on Instagram, right? But there's that second tier, guys that are bona fide world class, that are superstar players in their own right, whether it be Karim Benzema or Jordan Henderson or an N'Golo Kante who happens to be over there, right? Somebody like Hakeem Ziyech. He's even there? No. Who am I thinking of? Riyad Mahrez, right? These guys that are brilliant players, right? I would pay a pretty significant amount of money just to watch those dudes play in a friendly. I mean, for real. That's why they do all these friendly tours in the United States and China and Japan, right? Because there's a lot of people that pay a significant amount of money just to watch them play in a meaningless game, let alone a game that actually apparently matters. Like this, a league match. And the Saudi fans will come out for the national team, but this league, I don't know if it was ready for this. I really don't know if it was ready for this. And if I was on whatever board was going on in Saudi Arabia, I probably would have cautioned against the amount of spending that they just exhibited, right? Because whatever Saudi Arabia was able to do with golf, which worked, right, or F1 or wrestling, right, you can't do with football, right? You can't do with soccer, right? Those are event-based sports, right? Those are event-based sports that are, in golf's case, not even really happening in Saudi Arabia, right? This is something you need. Fan culture. You need people whose lives and days and weeks and traditions revolve around going to these matches with their kids, with their friends, with their parents, right? And that just doesn't seem to exist here. I mean, this is cavernously empty. Karim Benzema scoring a goal in front of a crowd that's smaller than a crowd I've played soccer in front of. I, as a high schooler, made it to the Florida State Championship. The semifinal that we played in was a home game, the state semifinal. 5,000 people went to that game. There's no way in hell 5,000 people were at this game, which means more people have watched me play than are watching Karim Benzema play right now. And I fucking suck. All right, I was not very good. I was the backup goalkeeper, so I only played a little bit in that game. But it wasn't nothing. Wasn't nothing. I was there. I was on the field. I was making the dream work. I was the teamwork. I was cheering from the bench. I was staying loose. I was doing yoga and calisthenics on the side. I was making it happen. But that realization, Jordan Henderson, man, I don't get you going to Saudi Arabia, but I get you leaving, right? Because Jordan Henderson, from what we understood of his brand and who he is and how he presented himself as a man of the people, somebody that loved he'd only played for one club, but somebody that loved the attention and the relationship of the fans, right? Somebody that thrived off that. He was not somebody with the flashy skill, right? He's somebody that played for the fans. You kind of got that. There's nobody to play for, right? I mean, unless you're playing for one of the very few elite clubs, which I think, honestly, Karim Benzema is playing for one of them. Does he play for Al Nassr? I guess this may be a road game. Maybe all that noise we're hearing is like from some away end that's packed that we don't see on this cell phone video. But seriously, this is it's not a healthy league if you have one of your superstar teams rolling into town against maybe a lesser opponent here and nobody's showing up to watch the game. I mean, I don't care. Even if you go to France, they want Saudi League to be one of the big 5 leagues in the world, right? They want it to be on that level. Go to any game in any of the top 5 leagues, in Belgium, in Austria, in Switzerland, right? I guess I can't actually speak Switzerland, never been to a game there, but I would assume you're never going to get this, right? It doesn't matter if you're playing the smallest team there, right? In Austria, it doesn't matter if you're playing, the stadium's a hell of a lot smaller, right? But you're going to get a top flight match that there's energy, there's intensity, there's local fan passion kind of driving things on. And to be entirely honest with you, the MLS, right? It might look relatively plastic compared to the other points that I'm referencing, but there are fans there. There's the ultra sections and traditions before the game and thousands of people there, right? Even if it's NYCFC and they're playing in a friggin' baseball stadium, they're there. I know. The Bada drums blew my damn ears out while I was covering that game, making that YouTube video. One of my favorite YouTube videos to make. Those Bada drums are loud. I can still hear them now. I wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats thinking that shirtless, sweaty dude banging those drums is just going to sneak up behind me, make me shit myself with the reverberations. Like, absolutely fantastic bit of fan culture there. But that just doesn't seem to be here yet. It's something that you have to grow intentionally. And it's something that I don't think, and we seem to be proving in China and then here, that you can't straight up buy, right? That you can't just buy play. It can't just be spectacle, right? And everything that is, Saudi Arabia clearly has decided it wants to spend all of its money on sports, right? And it's done it with spectacle, whether it be Live Golf, whether it be Formula One races, whether it be wrestling events and WWE and SmackDown, people jumping off cages, Undertaker's presenting the trophy, whatever, right? You can't buy and spectacle your way to having a healthily supported league system. And as long as this, I'm going to keep it a buck. If anybody from the Saudi investment funds watching here, as long as the stadium looks like this, you will never get the best players in the world in their prime to come play for you. I don't care if this is the worst team in the league. As long as that stadium looks like this, and it's not a completely unique situation where fans are like banned from the ground that I don't know about, right? But they're not banned from the ground because there's definitely people here. Like, then you're never going to get the best players in the world in their prime. You have to intentionally grow this part of the game. And they're not doing that. So Jordan Henderson, I actually get it. I at least understand why you left all the money on the table to come back. Because Jordan looked at it and he was like, you know, I got a lot of money, but I can't waste the last couple of years of my career playing in an environment that I just don't, you know, it just doesn't do it for him. Now, if you're trying to cash out and you're trying to get that pile of money, I have no issue with those dudes cashing out because they are handing out generational wealth. Right. And they're in as much as you would, as people say, like, well, you're a footballer, you already got a lot of money. There's a difference between a lot of money and a lot of money. Right. If you're making $5 million a year, you can take care of your immediate family. If you're making $50 million a year, you can take care of your town. Right. And that is a massive difference. And I'm not going to blame people, you know, I'm assuming some of these guys are just going to buy like a freaking speedboat and a yacht and whatever. And I'm not talking about those guys, right? But these people that are actually out there and like that, those finances are going to really help change a lot of people's lives. Then sure, man, I don't really blame them for that. But there does not seem to be, as much as Saudi Arabia tries to create it through throwing money at it, there does not seem to be the type of atmosphere that will create a top league and a sustainable top league in Saudi Arabia long term, unless there are grassroots efforts put in place to change that. And if you're from Saudi Arabia, love to hear about them in the comments, right? But I don't know about any that are going on right now. I'll see you guys on stream.